Hi, this is Coralla at CorallaFicklin.com. Welcome, WYLCOME, welcomenetwork.com. Come into the website because we have a network of all different kinds of websites like minimumpair.com, idiomatic synonyms.com, idiomaticexpressions.com. We have about 25, and there you'll be directed. That is, you won't be directed. You'll be able to decide what you want to see, what part of the website would you like to see, and what part would you maybe like to ignore. Okay, today I'm back to Spanish. And the thing that kills you about another language is not necessarily the grammar, although the grammar can be difficult. In the case of, let's say, Latin-based languages, the grammar can be somewhat more difficult because it's much more elaborate. Verbs. You have all different kinds of verbs. You have for example, in Spanish, you have the AR verb, the AR verb, the IR verb, and that's the verbs. And those are the verbs that follow the rule. And then, of course, you have verbs like tener or ir or ser or estar. And those are verbs that are irregular. Right? And then you have to distinguish the difference between ser and estar. And sometimes when in English you use the verb ser or estar, they use the verb tener. All those. That's difficult. I mean, not difficult, it's challenging. You have to just get your mind, you have to, change your mindset and try to see what people who speak Spanish see. Okay. Then, of course, there's a pronunciation. In Spanish, the pronunciation is not that bad because what you see is what you pronounce. But in French, the pronunciation can be somewhat challenging. In Spanish, it can be challenging because they have letters or they have letters which have pronunciations that we don't have in English. For example, the difference between Nino, which is the name of a person, Nino, which sounds more Italian than English, than Niño, the ñ, okay, or the LL, as in llamar, okay. It's more challenging, I would say, the pronunciation in English. That can be challenging. When the S is pronounced like a Z versus when the S is pronounced like an S. The TH has a number of different pronunciations. I'm doing pronunciation now, and I'm putting it on the web page, and I'm just looking at all the different pronunciation of the O in the beginning of the word. So that can be challenging, yes? And the pronunciation of the A, the vowels. All the vowels have about 4 or 5 different pronunciations, right? And that's just a short vowel. Then there's the long vowel sound. Okay. And there's also a difference not just between, let's say, Spanish and English. Spanish is I-A-E-O-U, and English is A-E-I-O-U. But there's also a difference between British English and American English. I'm really, really being challenged now, especially when I'm dealing with the O's, because a lot of time when the O in British English is long, in American English is short, they'll say obvious, and we'll say obvious. We don't go obvious, but their O is much longer than our O in a lot of different words. So I have to put, asterisk, American pronunciation, British pronunciation. So that can be challenging. But the most challenging, and this is what separates English, different versions of English more than anything, are the expressions. Especially if the expressions are somewhat idiomatic, or if the expressions are slang, or part of casual or informal English. So that's the part of Spanish that I've always put a lot of emphasis on. That and looking at Spanish and translating when the expression in Spanish or the expression in English is metaphoric or figurative. Now, today, I'm going to look at some, I guess this would be, it's not slang, it's casual, informal Spanish. Sometimes some words you have to be very careful about. For example, and when I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the cards. Now what I'm reading from here are cards, okay, versus the website itself. I have a lot of it. We have a lot of stuff on the website itself, but we also have a lot of cards. We call them iStudy cards or iStudy guides. And you can always go to istudycards.com, istudyguides.com. For example, there's the expression, no se mama el dedo. No se mama el dedo. Now, excuse me, the verb mamar, especially, and I know this to be very true in Spanish, in Mexican Spanish, you have to be very, very careful. Because in general, it means to suck. But just like in English, suck can have a lot of different meanings. Mamar in Spanish can also have a lot of different meanings. Now, no se mama el dedo literally means, I don't suck, one doesn't suck the finger, no? Which means nothing in English. I mean, if I say, I don't suck the finger on my finger, people won't say, well, good for you. Okay, maybe you're getting a little closer if you say about sucking a thumb, but even there, no. So you have to figure out what is that, how does that translate? And I've created a whole set of cards. There's about 1,000 of these cards, and it's called how do you say that in English? And it's almost like going crazy. If I had a picture, it'd be a picture of somebody pulling out their hair and saying, how do you say that in English? So once again, I'm looking over, okay, because I want to get I want to give you the expression in English. So no se mama el dedo means to be pretty smart. Okay, that means, I don't suck my thumb, which means nothing, or I don't suck my finger, which means nothing. So if you don't do something in this respect, means that, I'm pretty smart. I'm no dummy here. What they say, my mama didn't birth any dummies. That definitely is slang. Okay. Okay. Another expression would be meter el dedo en la boca a uno. Meter el dedo en la boca a uno. So this is Spanish, and I want to see how do you translate this into English, and whenever possible, go from one expression in one language to another expression in another language. Okay? To try to get someone to talk, or to get someone to talk. Okay? Pillarse los dedos, or pillar en, now this word is a little bit difficult for me to pronounce, but I think I can pronounce it, if you give me a little bit of time, flagrante. Flagrante. Alright? I had problems pronouncing this word in Mexico. There was a TV show which had this word, and I always had problems because I would eventually pronounce it like in English, which is incorrect. So pillarse los dedos, pillar en flagrante means to get caught red-handed. All right, to get caught red-handed is an expression in English, so we're going from expression to expression. Okay, pescar en flagrante, to burn one's fingers. To burn one's fingers. No moverse un dedo, or no dar golpe. Now, no moverse un dedo is very close to what we say in English. And I remember there was a song like this, and the man was singing, and this woman heard him, and he said, I would not, and the expression is in English, not lift a finger to help you. In other words, I won't do the minimum, even if it doesn't really cost me anything. No way, I'm not going to help you. No moverse un dedo, not to lift a finger. I love this expression. Un dedo no hace mano, ni una golondrina verano. I didn't say it right, so it would rhyme. Let me see if I can say it correctly. So it rhymes. Un dedo no hace mano, ni una golondrino verano. Okay, so what that means in English is one swallow. Golondrino is swallow, not to swallow. It's a type of bird. One swallow doesn't make a summer, which is very interesting because that one part, un dedo no hace mano, one finger doesn't make a hand. Very interesting. I like that expression. And there was a song, I forgot, by El Puma. I think that's what his name, El Puma. Okay, I'm not going to have time to do any more, but come on in to welcome, and you'll see the cards in this call. How do you say that in English? Corella Ficklin, CorellaFicklin.com.